everybody. This is Joe with Eagle Eye Mold, and I'm bringing you a presentation of probably the worst mold, something crazy situation that should never be. And this is in a condo. This was not my original customer. The original customer that was like 4 or 5 units down had a situation, straightforward. Okay, here's what's going on. And he says, "Hey, I got a buddy that has a situation. I'll have him come over." So I spoke to that person, and said to me, "Yeah, it's about maybe a month or so old." All right, let me see what's going on. He didn't really specify and give a lot of detail. I walk into his unit, 2 feet into the unit. I had to put on my respirator. I said, "Oh my God, I feel it already." And then he started getting nervous, and he's like, "Oh yeah, maybe it's a little longer than a month or two. It's maybe like 4, 5, 8 months." What, 8 months situation? So I didn't understand what's going on. So I turn the corner, and I see this, and I'm like, okay, this is not good from the start. I touched the duct tape, and it plops down. I mean, there was so much moisture, and I'm just scratching my head, and I see this. What the hell's going on? And this is a metal frame. So this is a hollow core door, steel frame, or hollow metal door. And you can see the rust coming through, and it's not making sense. And so he's explaining to me as I'm getting closer, and I'm getting now a little bit of fear. And I open up the door, and I'm like, holy, yeah, bad. I never seen stalactites before. So this is my first cave experience. But this was incredible. I mean, the only thing that wasn't there was the egg, the alien egg, opening up, and the alien coming on my face, because this was out of this crazy world. So, and there, a spacesuit was required for this. There was no respirator, there was no coveralls, either scuba gear or spacesuit. Because I felt this. So as soon as I opened up the door, and then you could probably see this, there was a mist, and the mist was with mycotoxins, and boy, it hit me, knocked me on my butt. I could feel the fatigue right away. And I'm saying to myself, I got to be in quick and out. And you can just see the growth. Here's the top of that door just rusting out, or the door frame, the door jamb, the header, and then this is the door slab. And I was just amazed. So as fast as I can, I was taking pictures, because this was amazing. This was alien. NASA would be sending their probes here, because this was just one of a kind, and you could just see the steam. So the water, the shower body was stuck on, and there was no way to get a plumber to shut this off. The only way was they had to turn the water off on the building in order to access this, and it should have been done 7.5 months ago or so, because this is just incredible. And not only that, I would, at least for myself, as somewhat of a handyman, I would have stuck a hose on here, ran it out the window, and let it pour out the condo, and say, "Hey, they got to fix this." So this shouldn't have been. This should not have happened. But it was just incredible, and you can see I was in and out. Hit a black spot, but it was just a thick mat. It was like a 16th of an inch. And throughout, this is not drywall. This is just a layer of Asper and whatever else is there, which was just absolutely incredible. Yeah, here's another shot. I was just amazed on it was like felt. So you can see again just everything seeping and sweating, and stalactites all over. The water is just constant, and just a steam bath, just a constant steam bath, no ventilation. And it would have been better if they had the door open. Most likely that the AC would have at least helped with removing the humidity, and you could just see the light fixtures are just rusting out. These bulbs were popping out or popping off or rusting out. The medicine cabinet just has its own set of mold here, and you can see the rust dripping in the sink. you know, on the floor. I mean, everywhere. I opened this up just to say, hey, how bad can it be? So this wasn't covered, but you can just see the damage done throughout. Yeah, this shouldn't be. Come on, this should not be. And yeah, I was just fascinated with the stalactites. Sorry. Um, yeah, here's a good picture. Yeah, this is great. This goes into Nat Geo right here. Were you in a cave? No, I was in a condo in Hollandale Beach. So, and you can see here just a lot of aspergillus and stocky, just stocky. Stocky loved this. So it was growing, it was there. And I felt terrible. And I took a nap for 3 hours when I got home from this. And my second stop was the lab, and the next stop was the house. I couldn't deal with it. And I felt the effects for a few days. But the problem was I had an appointment the next day. And I come into this, I'm like, oh my God, you know, how bad can it be? How bad can it really be? Yeah, we got some mold. Yeah, it's really bad. You know, again, this is spacesuit stuff. Um, there was a leak in the house, and, you know, and I'm saying to myself, there's still stuff in the dryer. Where was everybody? So I don't know if it was an emergency. They went out of town, whatever it was. You know, hey Joe, we have a problem here. Yeah, you got a problem. You got a major problem, and it was in multiple rooms. So this was a laundry room. There's bedrooms, the kitchen, the garage. So it was just amazing amount of water. So I don't know if it was just the roof leak by itself, but that's some freaking leak. You know, again, massive stocky botrytis. I mean, I have 270 pictures at this house. It was just incredible because they had condensational mold on top of the mold situation. So it was definitely, you know, double shot for me. You know, remediation. I used to do remediation work, and no matter what mask I had, that those mycotoxins will get in, and I can feel it. As a mold assessor, yeah, this is great. I could come in and I know there's something wrong. My body tells me, um, but it's aware on the system. And, you know, down the road I'll probably do a video more about, you know, symptoms that I felt and what people, because a lot of people call me and say, hey, something's wrong. I don't feel right. Something unusual. And there's a lot of situations that there's no micro information to turn it into macros. So you know, I'm going to touch upon that down the road, because there's situations where people go to doctors for years and exhaust all their you know, ideas till they says maybe there's mold in the house, and I come in and yeah, there's something more going on, and a lot of the times it's hidden. But this was just a doozy. So. You know, protect yourself from mold, and you know, hopefully I'll get Nat Geo. And then this house here had 8 million acrimonium. I never heard of that, but boy, yeah, I felt that. So yeah, I took a couple days out of stocky, Menonelia. So Menonelia is in the black mold family. Stockies, you know, that's the number one there. And this was just loaded with stocky aspergillus. So you know, I'm going to be making more videos. I'm going to be providing more videos in the field, what I see, what's going on. You know, again, these are obvious, but there's other ones that aren't so obvious that people feel, and you know, a lot of times I'll help them out and, you know, steer them in the right direction on correcting situations. So again, this was the worst. This is going to Nat Geo. Yeah. Don't love mold, I'll tell you that much. You guys have a wonderful day. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.